Hello everyone, my name is Drew Arnold. This module is part of the Sales Associate Training Curriculum, whose purpose is to empower you as a Device42 partner to effectively position the Device42 platform with your customers. The purpose of this module is to show you how you can use Device42 to identify software vulnerabilities of your commercial and common open system software and how it may impact your applications. Let's begin. Today's applications often use commercial off-the-shelf, referred to as COTS, and open system software as part of the application. As part of the application lifecycle, you must understand the risk that the software presents to your applications. But how do you tie software vulnerability and your applications together? The answer is simple: Device42. Before a customer can assess software vulnerability of their applications, the customer must understand what software is installed. Many customers do not know the answer. To further compound the challenge, the customer cannot tie the installed software to their applications and application servers. To address the vulnerability, the customer must first assess the risk of the installed software and then map that software to the application servers and services. Device42 can provide different levels of solutions to address this challenge. First, Device42 has partnered with risk-based security to provide the expertise around vulnerability assessments. We have combined RBS's VulDB with the Device42 software license management module to provide a software vulnerability assessment. This capability addresses the first step. By adding Device42's application dependency mapping module, you can now see the services running on the application servers and stitch together those services to build the application dependency maps. You can then correlate the installed software to the running services and application dependency maps. With knowledge of your application, you can now tie the two together and understand the software vulnerability risk to your applications and application servers. Let's look at what this may look like using the Device42 platform. We are now on the Device42 homepage, and from here we are going to drill down into the software vulnerability page. Quite simply, you go to Applications, to Software Components. This will provide a complete listing of the software components that are installed in the targeted environment, including showing the software packages themselves, their discovered device counts, their vulnerability rating from the VulDB integration, and the vulnerability count based on the number of known issues. Now we are on the Device42 homepage, and we want to see what software is installed and the vulnerability assessment of that software. We simply click on Applications, Software, and then Software Components. Now we see a complete list of the installed software in the targeted environment. This list can be quite long. In this case, there are 8,434 software components. We can filter quickly by typing the desired software in the search bar. We can also sort this list by its vulnerability ratings or by the vulnerability counts. Let's use FTP as an example for the installed software. Simply type FTP in the search bar, hit enter, and as you can see, there's a list of software referencing FTP. The FTP instance we are looking for has 50 discovered instances, has a very good vulnerability product rating from VulDB of a 5.0, which is the highest they can give. However, we also see 3 known issues. Let's take a deeper look by clicking the FTP hyperlink. By scrolling down, we can see the 3 vulnerabilities that have been identified. You see the RBS vulnerability ID, the title, the common vulnerability scoring system. The CVSS is a score from 0 to 10, where 0 represents no risk and 10 represents high risk. We can learn more about the vulnerability by selecting the vulnerability ID hyperlink. At this level, we can see a better description of the issue and, more importantly, the actual remediation or solution. Now let's go back to the previous page, and we're going to continue scrolling down to see all the installed instances. What we're going to do here is we're going to look for a application server to a number of applications running in the environment. Databases typically are the easiest place to start. So here we are going to select the S1 MySQL database. Now we are on the database server page, and we will want to quickly understand what applications this server supports. To do this, we simply click on Applications, and as we can see, there's a number of different applications: the Jupyter application, example, benefits calculator, payroll, and a new app. Now imagine if the FTP or another software module had a very high CVSS. We would have to evaluate the importance of that software and determine if we should remove it. We can also see what other servers this server is communicating with simply by going to the triple dot here, selecting the topology link, and now we have a global and local view of this server and who it's interacting with and over what services. Now we're getting a better feel for the potential risk that a very high CVSS score will have on a platform that's interacting with a large number of servers or supports a large number of applications. Now going back to the previous page, we can also look at it from an affinity group. An affinity group in Device42 is an actual application. So by selecting this, we see our SQL database. We see it serving a number of different Tomcat servers. And then we can start expanding this out to understand the relative importance of this particular server to the broader application. Again, understanding that if it has a piece of software installed which represents a high risk by a high CVSS score, we can then take remediation actions in order to minimize the exposure to our entire environment. Hopefully this has provided a demonstration of how you can use Device42 to understand your software vulnerabilities and then trace that back to your applications and your application servers. That concludes this module, and I hope you found it to be informative and beneficial. This module demonstrated Device42's ability to provide insight where you may be vulnerable from your installed software and how that vulnerable software may impact your applications and application servers. This is meant to be an introduction to the use case. If you need a deeper dive, please engage your Device42 partner manager. We will continue to develop more of these use case scenarios. Please continue to take the other sales associate modules, and I look forward to working with you in the future.